Welcome to The Snack, a lighter serving of Girls Gotta Eat.
This is a Dear Media production.
Enjoy.
Hi, guys.
Hello, guys.
Hello, guys.
Hola. I need to. You were just in Mexico, and you know my favorite thing about Mexico is you're just like, hola.
Yeah, and they say hi back to you.
Gracias. No, they do?
When I say it,
Really?
yeah. I actually
No.
That was the least I've
That's
spoken.
an insult.
That was I'm not good at it. That was the least I've spoken on a trip. Probably with Emily and Melanie.
Oh, yeah.
Emily's fluent in Spanish, and Melanie is like pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When I went to Mexico City, I was there with a fully fluent person and someone else who was like pretty good. But I still feel like you walk in a place, hola, and they say hola.
People usually say hi back to me.
All right. This is a weird start. But we'll talk about Raina's Mexico trip on Monday.
Yeah. Do you know what really, people always ask like how Girls Gotta Eat has changed my life and like, whatever, who cares? But like, I've been talking about it for years. But like the snack, the other day somebody was like, I was talking about something and they were like, you are so well informed on so many topics. And I was like, that's because the snack.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel that it's made you a better person?
I mean, well, I guess I do. I'm more informed. We have to kind of like study up. But I've always been a person who is informed in pop culture. That's why we wanted to start the snack in the first place. And that week I was off Instagram, I felt like I had nothing to talk about.
Nothing. Oh, I was talking about my brother this morning who doesn't have Instagram.
Yeah.
And I tried to explain to him like 4 different
Or TikTok
things.
too, obviously. But like, no, I was like, I'm not funny. I have nothing. I have no content.
Nothing to contribute.
Yeah.
I was trying to explain to my brother this morning, Scott Galloway clips and Get Me to God's Country. And he was like, they just didn't understand. He doesn't, no memes?
I know.
No clips, no memes.
How do you? No, I mean, my brother, he's on it. And my fiance, I'm just going to say this with my full chest. He knows everything before we do.
He is hyper on the internet. He liked something last night that it went up within 3 seconds and then I liked it. And I was like, oh, I got in there too quick. And then I saw that he had liked it before me.
If you're in there at the same time as him, you're too soon. He is so quick. And he like all of our friends, like he's so supportive. He likes everything.
He's a hype man for everybody.
But he's not perpetually on his phone. I don't really,
How does he do
I
it?
do not understand it. I guess he's just not working.
I mean,
I don't understand it. He knows everything first. And like, I'm supposed to be the expert here. And then we'll put something on the outline. I'm like, he was talking about it yesterday.
well, Tessa sends us a lot of articles too. I feel like I'm like hyper informed about everything now. It's made me a better person.
But I don't know, can a couple work if they're the opposite?
I like was very into this guy for a long time. Obviously.
What did you say? Married? Very into?
No, I said his name to you.
What did you say? You were very into him?
I don't know how to explain it. We were together. I was in love with this person for 3 years who decided to not date me. I don't know.
Could you explain it more? Could you cry a little?
You remember the entire fall?
Okay,
that.
Sorry, I didn't know what you were talking about.
Remember the reason I couldn't get out of bed in December of him?
I thought you said I was married to this guy for a little bit. I'm like, in your mind?
In reality, we used to spend like hours on the phone talking, but like I would send him like a celebrity thing, and he would have just like that was not his side of the internet, like no pop culture. And he was somebody who had like a lot of interests and hobbies, and we just had a lot in common outside of that. Actually, we have nothing in common. I don't know what's going on. We actually had nothing in common. He just was really hot, you guys. But anyways.
No, you had a nice relationship.
We did. So, but no pop culture, no celeb anything. And I was just like, it was like a bummer to me because I would be like so excited to talk about stuff. And it would be hard for me to date somebody who just like wasn't involved in that side of the internet.
Right. And this may not come up today, but what my fiance is so hot on right now is these dire wolves. He broke the news to me yesterday morning, and now my whole feed is dire wolves. And now I'm sending him memes. Jurassic World has responded. Basically, scientists are bringing back this wolf. And I guess there's a Game of Thrones meme. Raina, we were eating dinner last night. So he talked about dire wolves all day yesterday. We're eating dinner last night at the counter. You know, a high bar counter. I don't love it. I wish it was counter height, but it's bar height. He goes,
I don't like it either.
He goes, the dire wolf would be as high as this guy. And that's what men think about. You know, it's like, babe. It's like, babe, what do you think? He's eating dinner like so deep in thought. I'm like, babe, what are you thinking about? He's like, how the dire wolf would be as high as this counter.
that thing that like you ask them what they're thinking about and they're like, if a life-size praying mantis could eat a dinosaur,
right.
like that's what they're thinking about.
Like he's looking at the counter. I'm like, is he okay?
Is he thinking about our wedding?
Is he thinking about our relationship?
Or save the dates?
You know, this deep combo or something. He's like, no, this counter, that's about the height they would be. Okay, let's pick our partners.
You can't tell men that. You can't threat. The biggest fight I ever got into with a partner was he was talking about this, how men are on this like one train of thought, and I was like, men are so stupid. And we got into the biggest fight. I walked down the highway by myself in the middle of the night just to get away from him. I was so mad.
Listen, now we're off topic, but you got to be careful when you tell your male partner that you hate men and they're stupid. It's the wrong audience. I was doing this recently. I was like, can you believe that these fucking men? They just ruined my day. I went up to the hotel gym. They were both these two men were on the Pelotons. They ruined everything. I was like, babe, they ruined everything. Like these men ruined my day. They were up there like sweating. He was like, I don't know what you want me to say. Like he's like, I'm a man. And I get it. They inconvenience you. But I was like, wrong audience. Audience. I'll tell Raina.
Well, you said you were like these dusty men, these fucking men. And yeah, for a second, I was like, it just sounds like two people that wanted to work out that beat you to the gym. But then out loud, like rationality took over. And I was like, yeah, fuck those guys.
Like I don't, just sweaty men. Get out of here.
No. How dare you?
Right. Okay. Anyway.
Men don't like it though. It is to this day the biggest fight I've ever gotten into with somebody. He was screaming me, you think you're right because your audience just tells you you're right. And I was like, because I am right.
Why'd you bring the audience into this, sir?
Oh, you want to bring hundreds of thousands of people into this?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Who's backing you up?
Sorry you don't have an audience.
Ew. All
right, guys.
All right. Well, speaking of audiences, you guys can check out FX is Dying for Sex right now. All episodes are streaming on Hulu right now. And Built, get points by paying rent at joinbuilt.com/GGE.
Yes, and thank you to Olive Ave. Get 15% off your first order at oliveavejewelry.com with code GGE.
Okay.
Okay, we are going to kick it off with a former Bachelorette report.
So this came across my desk. I was watching Instagram Reels. I see Kaitlyn Bristowe come up. It's a clip from her podcast, Off the Vine. And she's going pretty scorched earth on Jason, her former partner. And we do want to say, we've had them both on the show. Love them both.
Yeah, we really don't have anything bad to say.
Yeah.
About either of them. We know the internet is divided on them. We have had nothing but positive experiences with both Kaitlyn and Jason, and they have great episodes you guys can listen to.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes. That being said, all love to both of them.
That being said, all bets are off.
She was going scorched earth on him on this. And she'll get a little messy here and there and talk about previous relationships. And she did eventually talk about why they had broken up. But she was going like really scorched earth, like gloves were off.
Yeah. She usually keeps it in, I don't know, in a more diplomatic tone. When she speaks about him, she's honest about everything in her life.
Yeah. And when she talked about breaking up with him and him starting the podcast and how upset it made her, I did think that she like said both sides of the coin, which is like, you know, I guess he deserves to go make money, but it upset me and asked him not to. But now she was just like, I paid for everything. He started that podcast to piss me off. So basically I keep watching this clip and she says that that Jason had recently gotten a dog and named it Teddy, which she had previously communicated to him that is her dream baby name. And she said in the clip, I had sent him a text message when we first met that this was my dream baby name. And I was a little unclear, had this ever come up again?
Yeah. So we always talk about relationships. I think we try our best to talk about them in a way that we would want people to talk about us and there's two sides of every story. Actually, there's three. There's one person's side, the other person's side, and the actual full-blown truth. Mm-hmm. Because people, you know, experience and interpret situations differently. But so we don't know the whole story. Like, I'm assuming 4 years of being together and talking about having children together, the baby name came up a lot. I mean, she's saying I have a receipt of texting him the day that we met. A little weird, but I'm sure it was in a conversation. I'm sure she wasn't like, hey, I want to have kids with you and I want to name my kid Teddy. You know, I'm sure.
Totally.
I don't know, but I don't know. Like, I don't want kids. And I think every person I've ever been in a relationship with knows what my baby name would be. So how much did it come up? If it came up a lot and they talked about having a child named Teddy together and then he named the dog Teddy, I think it's pretty diabolical.
It's so, if that is the case.
And that might not be the case.
That might be,
if she said it once in a text, a man cannot remember that.
Remember a couple minutes ago when we said men are stupid?
Exactly.
They're stupid.
Yeah.
But if that is really the case, they talked about having children together and she has communicated the name, which I would assume is the case. To name the dog, why? I really do want to know what was the point of this.
Yeah. And again, like, is this him being petty on purpose because of something that went down between them? I don't mind it. Get messy, get petty with your ex. Like, that's human nature. But what I would hate is if would gaslight her and the public over it. And that would make me crazy. Like, I don't know if it actually was like purposeful. I'd rather him be like, yeah, fuck her. You know what I mean? Like, just be honest about what you're doing. This would piss me off. I had an ex get the kind of dog I wanted.
I thought it was
We
weird.
all thought it was a little weird. It was a specific type of dog I was obsessed with. He didn't care about that type of dog before we were together. And then it kind of became his whole personality. And that's okay. What he named it was even a little Ashley coded, but it's fine. Like, it's not the most rare dog. It's not a dire
It wasn't
wolf.
a golden retriever.
It wasn't a golden retriever.
It wasn't the most common dog.
Yeah. And it's but it's like, it was more funny than everything. This would piss me off.
I wonder also if men don't really understand how much women care about that stuff. Like, I've always said I want to name my grandparents' names were Charlotte and Charlie. If I had a daughter, I'd name her Charlotte. I'd call her Charlie. I've always said that. But like, maybe men don't like understand what that means to you. That like, this is the name of my future child. It means a lot to me.
Yeah. Like, my baby name is Lucy. And like, if this happened and the guy named his dog Lucy, I'd be like, that's so crazy. You're obsessed with me, but I'm not having kids. Now she can't name her kid that. Like, I don't think she will. Can you imagine if she
You're
does?
totally right. You and I would be like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, grow
You're
up.
so embarrassing. But if I couldn't name my kid
I know.
then.
I don't think she's going to want to name her kid this. So we don't know. We call Kaitlyn right now. How much it got brought up. So if in fact it was lots of conversations and he knew, and he did this, weird. You have a million names in the world to name a dog. A kid's name is more important than a dog. Kid's name trumps dog name.
I think she should still do it. I think she should be also petty and be like, that was my name first and I'm using it.
Yeah. And what if he's like, well, as it comes out that his kid name was Ramen. And they like named the dog that.
Oh, she said he doesn't see the dogs.
There's been some dog
into
tea.
it.
Well, I didn't run the tape before we started recording. She said he has gone on podcasts and said, I don't let him see the dogs.
Yes.
Did he say that on our show? He alluded to it, I thought. I don't want to misquote.
Remember, actually.
I thought he alluded to some dog drama on our show. I'm trying to put ourselves in the middle of it. I'm just trying to be involved.
We call them both. We're like, surprised. What if we zoomed them both and merged this two?
We have both of their cell numbers. We do the FaceTime. Hey guys, you're live on the snack.
I think I'm seeing him tonight. The day that this airs.
Oh, the day that it airs. Yeah.
I'll ask him. I'll let you guys know.
I can't make it. I would be there to ask him too, but I got to get some cavities filled. We'll talk about it.
Okay, and then the other Bachelorette headline. So I guess Gabby Windey has been doing some interviews. She was talking about Clayton Echard. Echard, is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
He was the Bachelor on the season that she was on, and he famously slept with all three women, told them all they were hysterical in a museum.
In the most echoey room ever. Everyone's wails were bouncing off the walls. It was an iconic Bachelor moment.
Psychotic.
He's honest to a fault. I want to start by saying Gabby lately, has me in stitches. Totally. She is modern day Jennifer Coolidge. She's so funny. Like, I've just been loving her content lately. Same. I think this Traitors thing blew her up. Obviously, we knew her before that, but she's very specific type of person, and like, Gabby's gonna Gabby. She went on a podcast and kind of slammed him for these dance videos he's been making and said, like, he looks like a toe. And just kind of like, how could I have liked him? And also, she's with a woman now. It came across very just classic talking about your ex. We're all allowed to talk shit on our ex.
Totally.
Like, let's not get too far down the road where we can't do that anymore.
Like, we don't have to put constraints on everything, right?
Yeah.
He humiliated her on national television.
Yeah.
I know that is the premise of the show. You go on the show and you understand that. That's why I'm not doing it. So I'm not doing that show. I know the premise is that, like, if you get into the final 3, essentially the lead of the show could sleep with all 3 people, and you all have, and he has feelings for all of you. Like, that's the premise of the show. But I totally agree. You are allowed to talk shit on your ex. He didn't like it.
His response was so serious. He was like, "This is bullying, and I'm gonna stand in my power and stand up for everyone who's been bullied." Like,
and who dances on TikTok.
Yeah, so Clayton has started dancing. I have a soft spot for Clayton because he went through this insane situation. I listened to the full Nick Viall podcast about what this woman scamming him, essentially saying she was pregnant with. It was like one of the craziest things I've ever heard from. I think he's like a good guy deep down. I think he shouldn't have been the Bachelor. I think he's like honest to a fault, whatever. I don't dislike him at all. And like, I really, listening to what he went through with this like wild situation, I was like on his side. He does these dancing videos. He started doing them in the last couple of years. He wasn't doing them when he was the Bachelor. He wouldn't have been selected at all. They are the most cringe thing I've ever seen. But what isn't cringe? We say this all the time. Like, you got to be cringe. You can tell he's having the time of his life. They are so cringe. I thought they were a joke. They look like a parody, but he is having so much fun.
No one's having more fun than him trying to learn how to dance.
He will be dancing, and the way he has no swag in his face, like he is full grin, doing these dance moves, and then paragraph long caption about how dancing has changed his life. It's unreal to see. I'm obsessed.
Ashley and I have been knowing about these dance videos for like years. They are so funny. And he has gotten better. I will say, I've watched him progress. He looks up while he's dancing now. So he's not like watching his feet.
Okay.
He's gotten a little better.
I thought he looked straight at the camera and smiled.
They're so cringe. You guys have to watch them, though. It does bring him joy.
Yes.
But he basically came out and said that she was, number one, bullying him, and that these dances are like mental health for him.
No, they are.
Here's what I think. I think he took it really seriously because what happened with that woman, basically he was a real estate agent. He was showing her homes. They ended up hooking up. They did not have sex. She still said she got pregnant from like pre-cum. And then she dragged him through the mud for a year.
Income about it. Yeah, it was crazy.
It was really, I would say, extremely traumatizing. He lost a lot of money because of legal fees. And you should listen to the episode. It was fantastic. Not you, Ashley, you, the audience.
Yeah.
He's probably just hypersensitive.
He's sensitive about anything.
What people are saying on the internet about him.
Well, I mean, you're a person on the internet, so it kind of comes with the territory. I've seen comments. I mean, people obviously will like die for Gabby. They love her so much. And I'm also seeing comments that say it comes across a little mean-spirited. You're kind of welcome to think both. That I don't know what totally went down between them behind closed doors. Again, he did kind of fuck her over on national TV. She's allowed to slam her ex on a podcast. The tone was not what I would take. I would probably be lighter. Like, I'd probably be like, they're so cringe, bless his heart. You know, like Clayton is this tall, big dude that was the Bachelor. Like, he's obviously not fugly. Like, calling him a toe is like, whatever. Like, she probably thinks he looks like that now. She doesn't even like men. So to me, it felt light, maybe borderline mean-spirited, but also like Gabby is this like, that's kind of her vibe, and it's really funny. And so I don't know, like he definitely took it super seriously.
It's on the lower end of what people would say about someone else's appearance. It's a pretty low-hanging fruit. It doesn't really, you could apply that to anybody. I think that it's very common to just say somebody looks like a toe.
And she was attracted to him.
Right.
We're allowed to talk about our exes. Do not take this away from us. And we're allowed to insult their appearances. We liked it at one point. We fucked these people. We can talk shit on them now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, there's always the, if a man did this, it wouldn't be okay camp.
Yeah.
You're welcome to believe that. I would take issue seeing a man be like, I don't like her anymore. She's fugly. Like, and her dance videos are stupid. Like, I would take issue with it, but I don't care when a woman does it. I just don't care. It's not that deep for me.
But I'd be like, yeah, you can call me ugly. You don't like women. I don't know. It would hit different. So there's that.
I think that women traditionally have been dragged,
not
valued and devalued for how they look since the beginning of time. I don't think men have had that experience. So it does feel different when men do it.
Yeah.
Because men have always dragged women for how they look and what their weight is and their face and their bodies, and women just haven't.
Yeah, it's not all comparable. Like I have issues with like, what if men, what if women? Like it's not straight across the board. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about White Lotus. The finale that
Season 8
swept the nation. I say this every week. The way that people are with this show is unlike anything we've seen since really like the olden days. It's like giving like Seinfeld finale, like the way that it used to be. Like everyone's tuning in, they're ordering food. We'll talk about the food, but it really was like I don't know anyone that doesn't watch White Lotus. I felt out of the loop with Game of Thrones, And this is no shade to Game of Thrones. I just didn't watch it. My fiance is like breathing on my neck to watch it with him. The Dire Wolves, obviously, he's a fan. But like, I don't know anyone that doesn't watch White Lotus. Not one person. Can you name one? Like, I felt like I had some community with Game of Thrones. I know that so many people watched it, but I feel like I had people that didn't watch it in my community, and I don't see that with White Lotus.
That's a good call. I think that Game of Thrones is the last time I really felt like everybody's doing this. I'm out of the loop, but like you didn't watch it. Like not everybody around me was like, this is must-see TV. This is like swept the nation.
Yeah. And, I have this theory. People said they didn't love this season. You even said that. There wasn't enough happening. Do we think that the bar has just been set so high that people have kind of unrealistic expectations that they even kind of forget that the first season was a little slower moving? Like, I feel like we have upped the ante every season that people are expecting to be blown away. And the show actually is similar. It's just people have different expectations. They've been warped by like, this is the greatest show on TV.
I think a couple things. I think that the show lacked comedy for me, and that's just I think there was so many like comedic moments in the first two seasons and comedic acting that I missed it in the third season. There was nowhere, like I said, nowhere to go for a break. Like, and even stuff that wasn't supposed to necessarily be on its head fun. Like Jake Lacey's character in season 1 is just funny to me.
Yeah.
Jennifer Coolidge is just funny. Jennifer Coolidge's assistant in season 2, she's just like quirky and dating this guy. There's humor woven throughout the show. There was nowhere to go for humor in season 3. But the theme of these, the seasons, if you guys don't know that, the first season was what? Money. The second season was sex. This season was like personal development, spirituality.
Enlightenment.
So it is a less kind of funny topic.
I agree with you completely about the humor, and that was on my list too. I think they could have made it funny. I'm sorry, that's hilarious. People who are so spiritual, enlightened, like that's funny. You can. That's not. I don't think that's it. But I said it was darker. Like Tanya's death last season was hilarious. I mean, the gays are trying to kill me, and then she bounced off the rail, and like the hotel manager, like the drug trip, and then he dies. Like all that was like he was in their room. Like all of it was really comedic, and this was just dark. It was like a Greek tragedy. People were so upset Chelsea died. That goes without saying. Like it was not the same. This season was not funny. Like the memes were funny, but they were. And Parker Posey was funny. I guess she was supposed to be your comedic relief. She was supposed to be the Jennifer Coolidge.
Yes, but like season 2, like the dad and the son are sleeping with the same sex worker. And then these like two sex workers that are just kind of like funny together. Like there was just nowhere to go. Parker Posey to me is one of the greatest characters written. I loved it. Our friend said that it was a very long finale. It was a 9-minute finale, and they kind of just wrapped up the whole thing in 15 minutes. But I thought there was a lot of suspense, and I kind of enjoyed it. And I like how they wrapped up this season. I think they did a good job of wrapping up every single storyline. I actually, more than any other season, wanted to watch these characters more. Like, I want to watch the Ratcliffe family go home.
Yeah, which people are saying that storyline is Schitt's Creek. This rich family that's lost everything. People are like, we need a show about them losing everything. And people are like, that's Schitt's Creek. Ever heard of it?
Totally.
The things... We can bounce around, but since you kind of say things you wished happened, this is kind of twisted, but I wish they would have had Saxon finding out that Chelsea died. I mean, he had this really, emotional moment seeing her run back with Rick. Like, what if he found out she died?
Do you think he would have cared?
Yeah. Oh, I think it would have really fucked him up. I don't know. That's kind of a dark thing to want to have seen. And then, of course, I would have liked the family to like see a little bit more of the news and have it wash over them. Like you sort of see Saxon, I think.
That's it.
And that's it. Like I wanted to see a little more and really have them, even if just on their faces, like completely like melt down, be like crestfallen, and then have him kind of looking out into the water like he's contemplating suicide again. I don't know. Like they had him looking into the water and I was like, oh, is he going to jump off this fucking boat? And I don't know. They just kind of didn't dive into that.
I agree. I would have liked to watch that boat ride play out. Because he ends it by saying, like, we're a family, we're strong, we'll get through this together. No, y'all won't.
I know.
No, you won't.
That scene where he made them the pina coladas, I was holding on to my fiance. I was whispering like to myself, like, what the fuck? Like, there's no way this is going to happen. And my thought process was, I think, what a lot of other people thought of, like, he's going to leave Lachlan alone with a dead family. Like, this is so twisted. And I didn't think he was going to go through with it. But I mean, we were watching them sip it.
I think that they like teased the blender the whole season, and that's that fruit, and you kind of like knew that was going to happen. I mean, I've seen so many memes like you're going to use a blender that wasn't washed out.
Yeah, people are really coming for Lachlan's character about that. I think he like thought his brother used it. He thought there was protein still left in it. You can't get too much protein. Like, I think that was his vibe.
Talking to my brother this morning, he said he really enjoyed watching the dad interview all the family members about who he was going to kill. He was like, that was the comedy for me.
Also, by the way, we like cannot forget that the dad is high on lorazepam the whole time. Like, I feel like you are watching him try to kill his family and then kind of come back to life. Like, he's so high. Like, he's like, this is a good idea. This is going to be great. He's
just fantasizing about like which one to do it to and like asking them individually. It is kind of funny.
Yeah.
I was going back. I'm curious what your thought process was about Mook and Guy Talk. Because I think that every season they do a good job of like incorporating a few characters from the hotel. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that it should just be a show of a bunch of like rich white people from America. Like they wanted to incorporate people from Thailand. I don't know what else I wanted from it, but if you had totally removed that storyline, it wouldn't have changed the show for me in any way. Like Mook, I just thought like she was going to be involved some other way, but like she's his purpose, I think, and he is struggling between like religion and wanting the girl, and like that's his catalyst for all this stuff. And then like he is also like the inflection point for the robbery and those 3 guys that are going to fuck the 3 girls. I just was like, do I care about the storyline at all? What was the point of this? But it sort of just acts as a through line.
I thought it was important. I mean, especially the fact that like the whole thing is like, I'm not violent, Buddhism this, Buddhism that. And then he shoots somebody, kills somebody at the end. Mm-hmm. And that gets him promoted. And then essentially you kind of assume get the girl. So I think like there's a lot to that.
You like the storyline?
Yeah, okay. I do. I thought Mook was going to be bad. I thought the whole time she was involved with the robbers.
Yeah, they teased that.
Yeah. Just some notes I had. I thought there were some really profound statements. Chelsea saying, don't focus on the love you didn't get, focus on the love you have. I might be quoting that wrong, but I thought that Lachlan, like finally just mentioning the family full of narcissists was like crazy. I mean, and like it just kind of cut off right there. But, you know, I never really felt like he was this super creep wanting to fuck his whole family guy. I just thought he was like this kid that didn't have an identity and he was in this fucked up family. And I think you finally realize that like, he jerked his brother off because he's like this perpetual people pleaser and he doesn't have a sense of identity and is this family full of narcissists. I don't know.
Totally agree.
And I was like, I thought he was dead, I was like upset.
He just didn't deserve to die. Neither did Chelsea, of course, but like I understood it. Like Rick has to lose everything because he takes someone else's life.
Yeah.
And then he dies. Also, who knew that Rick was a sharpshooter?
Well, did you see this theory that him and the other guy, the guy with the
Sam
lady
Rockwell.
Voice, Sam Rockwell's character were old military buddies. Someone said maybe you were supposed to assume that's how they knew each other. Maybe
that is right.
I don't know if it ever says how they knew each other. Maybe I missed it, but people were like, maybe they had like some experience. Cause I mean, you can't, whatever, but also it's TV. And then I loved Lori's monologue.
I mean, everybody is saying they loved it. It was so profound. And I really was wondering how they were going to wrap up the storyline with these women. Because the whole season they teased this tension between 3 people. But it is realistic when you think about like people that have known each other for 25 years and have seen each other through marriages and children and jobs and moving. And we're not the same people we were when we were in college. We're so different. And, you know, you have this one woman played by Leslie Bibb who like gets married to somebody who's conservative and moves to Texas and is clearly more religious than them. And it's like, does that mean that we throw these friendships out? Does that mean these people don't mean anything to us anymore? And I kind of was like having fun watching them kind of like rip each other to shreds. But it was more realistic in the end where they come together. And I thought it was a more realistic storyline.
Yeah, I really did appreciate the way they wrapped it up, and they really gave them a happy ending, and they were like all like, you know, huggy kissy, then they on the boat. But like, I feel like when Jacqueline was speaking about how great the week was, I had like whiplash. I'm like, what? This has been such a great week. I'm just glad like Lori came to the table with some honesty, and also maybe it just felt like they were both kind of like romanticizing this week that kind of got a little hellish towards the end. And then Lori was like, hey, what?
Jacqueline's thing felt very much like actress in Hollywood PR answer.
Yes.
Of what a beautiful week.
Acceptance speech.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it lacked depth and honesty.
Yeah.
So it felt like a very PR'd answer. And Leslie Bibb's answer felt very like Texas Southern woman, bless her heart, And I love Lori. I'm glad you have a beautiful face. I'm glad you have a beautiful life. But let's have a real conversation.
So just some headlines and things that people are talking about that we want to address. Some deleted scenes that didn't happen or full storylines. And I think the one that I am the most upset about is that Piper was going to have sex with Zion and lose her virginity. And I can't believe that didn't happen.
The internet's upset. People are very upset that
actually the next segment we're doing the show is dragging Mike White because I have a lot to say. I would have died to see that. Just like this, like the romance in general, losing her virginity, that's significant because it would have been such a full circle moment for her to be the one that had a nice sexual experience on the vacation because they were nagging her about being a virgin. And then Saxon was out here hunting for pussy. And then ultimately only his brother jerked him off. It would have been full circle for her to have sex. But I just would have liked to see them flirt. That would have just been a nice storyline. I'm thinking about how much I would have loved that. How would they even have met up? I'm just bummed that didn't happen.
It just would have been a fun, lighter storyline.
Yes.
Her only storyline was going to stay at this monastery and then deciding that she likes air conditioning and the food is bad and all that. That's her storyline.
I get it on the air conditioning.
But yeah, I think it just would have been a fun, sexy storyline. It's not incest driven or my dad left me driven or this dead lady. And it just would have been lighter and sexier.
I think we all love people getting together.
Fucking at a resort on vacation.
Yeah. So that was a bummer. Mike White said that next season won't be crashing waves. So people are speculating, are we doing a ski resort or are we doing a city? I mean, we've seen a lot of scenes in cities. They get into the city on these shows, but it's not going to be an island or a coastal location, it sounds like.
I'm dying to know the cast. And every year I get so excited. And on April Fool's Day, they released a fake cast. And one of the people was Lindsay Lohan, which wouldn't she be so fun on the show?
Well, one of my favorite memes was, if we do this at a ski resort, you have to cast Gwyneth Paltrow.
Absolutely.
Gwyneth Paltrow's ski trial was one of the favorite things I've ever seen.
So that was at the same time as the Johnny Depp trial, and I didn't pay attention.
You were
to Johnny
one or the
Depp.
other.
Yes,
Yeah.
I did Gwyneth Paltrow. Didn't she sue for $1? Wasn't that the whole thing? Okay.
The trial. I mean, it's we can't get into it now, but if you know, you know. You know how you mentioned the themes of every season? I would love it to be about fame. I've thought how much I would enjoy a fame season, influencer stuff. It doesn't have to be all influencers, but Jacqueline was famous, but not famous fame. I would love for it to be about the desire for fame.
Because what else? Money,
sex,
spirituality. I like fame.
I know.
Okay.
So that's what I want.
What's your prediction?
And then the other craziest thing that I really can't stop thinking about is that the composer, Cristobal Tapia de Veer, who's the famous composer who wrote the original songs, he is now quit for season 4. And the tea is hot. So did you read all of this?
So I saw the line and I didn't get into this.
So he's won multiple Emmys for his work on the show. As we know, people were really unhappy with this theme song for season 3 and they were how could they? And he knew he was going to quit. His quote says, comes from a Cosmo article, but it's all over the place. He told the New York Times, "It's kind of weird right now because I announced to the team a few months ago that I was not coming back, that I was leaving. I didn't tell Mike for various reasons. I wanted to tell him just at the end for the shock."
The season finale. He had his own season finale planned.
And then Mike heard because he told everyone else. So then apparently Mike said a lot of things when he found out. Cristobal explained, I can't really talk about that. And then, so it says, he did, however, enlighten everyone on the general White Lotus theme song drama. According to him, the composer, Mike originally wanted a club song with quote unquote, literally no edge to it. That was more quote unquote background music. That's exactly what we said. I was this isn't a song. So when it came to season 3, Cristobal confirmed he made 20 versions of that theme with and without the ooh. And when he realized fans were upset about the theme, the show ended up using He Tried to Release the Original. So he texted the producer. I told him it would be great to, at some point, just give them the longer version with the, yeah, that's all we want. Because people will explode if they realize it was going there anyway. Yes, he gets us. Mike White doesn't get us, but he understands. He thought it was a good idea. Then Mike cut that. He wasn't happy about that. They have some beef. And then he goes, I mean, at that point, we already had our last fight forever. So he was just saying no to anything. I mean, this drama. And then he uploaded that song to YouTube anyway.
What?
Have you listened to
it? This is crazy. Can we play it?
Yes. So it's too long to play the whole thing, but I'll just play the end.
I'm going to be so upset when you play this.
It's most of the...
And you know that I predicted after the first episode that they were going to change the music because I was like, surely this won't last.
I know. And I mean, this composer, like I remember even season 1, there were more songs than just the theme song I would listen to. The song of them going to dinner. Like I was on that soundtrack. He's incredible.
I loved it. I would listen to the car. We would listen to Girls Gotta Eat shows. We'd play it all the time.
Okay.
Oh my God. I feel like I'm about to be so upset.
So just the regular. I'm going to just fast forward, speed through it because I want you to hear the end.
This slaps so hard. I have chills and my nipples are hard, and I'm so mad about this. By the way, there's monkeys in that song.
Yes. Because I listened back to the first season and the second season. Like the first one had more animal sounds and things like that, and then the second one had more of a beat drop, and then like the
yeah.
But like they had that similarity. Why would you not? Like I just don't understand it. Now it just feels like they have had beef, probably for a while now, and that like it was an ego thing. Because like the way that people act about that song, it's like he gets so much credit. Like people know that composer's name. They know that that's like someone else who's responsible for that. I don't know.
Sound was just ripped for so many TikToks.
And I don't know if that's the story, but they have beef.
That is tea. I'm glad I didn't read
that whole album of like uncut.
I want all 20. Thank you for telling me that. Oh no, I missed that.
And then one more thing we want to talk about, which I have some stuff to share with you, is what I'm calling Thai food meltdowns for the finale.
So everybody in America apparently had the same idea.
So I saw people ordering Thai food for the premiere.
Okay.
And my fiance and I just never got Thai food. I don't know. We cooked dinner or whatever. We hadn't had Thai food for White Lotus yet. So we were like, we got to get it for the finale.
Yeah.
I was like, we go to order. We were like landing, coming back from Chicago. And I was like, what are we going to have? And I'm like pitching him different options. And I landed on Night Market. But I need to be very clear. This is no shade to Night Market. We love Night Market.
Oh, we have multiple friends that shared the exact same story.
Unbelievable.
From tons of restaurants.
And at that point, they were only doing scheduling. And I'm like, okay, they're probably trying to get ahead of it. This is very smart. Like in Caviar.
Did you immediately realize like everyone has ordered Thai food for the finale?
I had a feeling that people were going to be doing that. And then the restaurants were preparing themselves for it. But also like, who's going to tell you if you don't think about that yourself? So they weren't doing like order right now. They were like, you can schedule your delivery. I'm like, this is perfect. They're getting ahead of it. So we're landing. I schedule it for between 7:30 and 7:50. So 7:30 comes around and I'm like, the Dasher's there. He's been there. He's been waiting. And so it's probably taken a while. I understand that. So at 7:39, I feel bad because he's there. And I'm like, I don't want him to wait there all night. You know, so crazy. I just text him, hi, is the order just not ready yet? No, unfortunately, there is an incredible crowd here. The order I took before you was prepared in 40 minutes. I'm waiting for it to be prepared. What was your name? Because there are 2 orders. Cancel if you want, or you will wait a long time. I will wait too. I have plenty of time. I work for you. Meanwhile, I'm like, you can go. I don't like this. Is weird.
I mean, when I even saw the length of the text messages, I was like, how are you guys talking this much?
You don't even know. So I said, I scheduled the delivery for between 7:30 and 7:50. Can you check on it? Can you just ask? Like the name is Ashley Hesseltine. He goes, it's impossible. I can't get out of here for at least 30 minutes. Cancel it if you want. I said, do you mind just asking them can you just ask them? I placed it over an hour ago. He said, when we ask, they don't care about us because there are at least 40 people ahead of me asking. We have no choice but to wait. Here, they yell at us. Also, again,
there's a bit of a language
go
barrier,
support
obviously.
Night Market. This is no
we love
shade.
it.
They were probably going. This was like the Bear happening.
Our other friend had also ordered from a different Thai place, and then you were trying to find alternatives for. This is every Thai restaurant in LA.
So yes, because I was at Bangkok. West Thai is another place I like. So I just said, I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know where to go. Like I feel now we're just talking. I go, I'm sorry to hear that. He goes, are you thinking of canceling the order?
I can't believe how long this takes.
I'm talking to Caviar support. I go, yes, I'm trying to. No update from your end, because then Caviar is like, you can't. It's too late.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I can't get my food. So what are you guys gonna do? They're like, we got to call the restaurant. I'm like, you won't be able to get through to them because
they don't care about you.
They don't care about you. So I said, no update. Like he goes, there are too many waitings. Yes, it was crowded. Now it's even more crowded. That's the only thing that's up to date. I love that he's like, I have an update for you. It's worse.
There is an incredible crowd here, even more so.
So then I said, okay, I'm canceling. You can leave. I'm so sorry. I can't go without you canceling. I'll get a message. It doesn't matter. Have a nice day. It doesn't matter. Have a nice day. And again, he's not trying to be rude. It was
also probably a bit of a language barrier.
Doesn't matter. Have a nice day. And then we're done here. I canceled it. I order from somewhere else. 10 minutes later, he sends me a photo of the restaurant.
Is this a club? Line to get in. Like there's a bouncer.
Could you die? We'll put this on YouTube. Like literally there's 40 like dashers, people ahead of him. And I saw reels from a few places in New York, but one specifically called Soother, which was right by where we used to live, right by where I used to live. It's incredible. It's in East Village. It opened right before COVID. They were able to survive. It's an amazing. I would never have attempted Soother, but I just thought it was so funny.
I don't know why it never crossed my mind. And then I looked at text messages from two other girlfriends in New York because I had been talking to them like, what do you do up to today? And they both had said, I'm ordering Thai and watching White Lotus. Like it just never crossed my mind this was like gonna be a thing. This shut down Thai restaurants like wing places at the Super Bowl.
Yes, I know. It's so funny you were comparing to the Super Bowl. And then I just asked people if they had any situations, and someone said Night Market in Venice took 3 hours and we had to cancel. Again, guys, we love Night Market. 2 cancellations, and 4 hours later, we just ended up ordering burgers. Then someone said, I decided to cook, had my own little meltdown. Food wasn't ready till 10. So good though. And we did find a place. It was called like Tale Thai. It was really good, but it was kind of, but then when I went in Caviar, almost all the top Thai places were like grayed out. They're done. They had to cut it off.
Yes.
Like this, it was giving me flashbacks from that scene in The Bear where the tickets are just coming out. And like, I feel for these restaurants who like didn't know. And because I think you don't know till you know. And you're like, okay, this is, if they had no idea that was happening, they're like, this is a lot, but great for us. Maybe some TikToker posted about us, you know, and then they're like realizing like, we can't keep up with this. And then they have 40 dashers there.
It just never crossed my mind. I don't know why it would cross their minds. Yeah. That's incredible.
Okay. Well, that is our White Lotus recap.
I don't know what we're going to talk about it now.
We have to do our ad.
No, I mean just in life.
Okay.
Now that White Lotus.
Well, we do have a show that we are so excited about to take the place of White Lotus, and that is FX's Dying for Sex.
So this episode is supported by FX's Dying for Sex, starring Michelle Williams and Jenny Slate. Inspired by a true story, the series follows Molly, who after receiving a terminal cancer diagnosis decides to leave her husband to explore the full breadth of her sexual desires. She gets the courage and support to go on this sexual quest from her best friend Nikki, who stays by her side through it all. FX's Dying for Sex, all episodes now streaming on Hulu. I mean, from watching the trailer, I knew this would be great. Tessa and I, and you just laughing.
We've been watching.
So much comedy. And I love Jenny Slate and Michelle Williams. I love the whole storyline of this friendship and somebody just wanting more for their sex life and saying like, this might be the end of my life and I want to go have orgasms and I want to experience sex and explore my sexuality. And I love the storyline. I love the friendship. I love the humor. It's a great show.
I don't think it's so easy to do death with humor, and I think they've nailed it. Gabby, Windey's partner, Robbie, is in it. Marcelo Hernandez makes a cameo. Like, we're just liking seeing everybody's in it. And Tessa, we've all been watching it and I'm just loving it. So you guys check it out.
Yeah, so check it out on Hulu right now, you guys.
Okay, and then I am going to tell you about a new brand partner. This is Olive Ave Jewelry. I am so excited about this. Okay, so if you guys are new around here, you know, I'm engaged and I have the ring to prove it, but they do handcrafted engagement rings to custom fine jewelry and then just great, of course, everyday pieces, but you can customize. Olive Ave creates pieces designed to celebrate love, friendship, and life's most meaningful moments and milestones. So whatever that is, again, like great gifts. And I was looking on it for like wedding bands. And I like sent the link to my fiance and I was like, would you want a stone? Cause like, I don't know. I don't mind a guy's wedding band and it has a little diamond on it.
I always just like feel bad that guys just get something without any like pizzazz. And so I never know. And I like all their ready to wear stuff. I mean, you can certainly do custom, but their ready to wear is beautifully done.
Yeah. So, but I mean, you can search, I mean, by engagement, again, bands. I kind of know what I want, but I was looking for him. They have solid gold, diamond, contemporary metals, fine jewelry, of course. And you can shop by occasion, birthday, anniversary, wedding party, graduation, push presents, ready to ship, and then custom, of course. So I'm loving the solitaire gemstone necklace. You can get it in ruby or emerald, which I really love. Again, my ring is ruby, so I'm just so hot on rubies and ruby everything. And their jewelry is made to last. It's really high quality stuff. It's really, really great. You're not getting some like flimsy ring that's going to fall apart. This is the real deal. Jewelry made to become part of your biggest, most unforgettable moments. And again, you can customize. We're talking personalization that makes it feel 100% you. So you'll have something that no one else has. So again, we are really big fans. Do you know what you got?
I got the Lexa, which is a ready to ship, but it's a yellow gold ring and it has a little like sort of halo of diamonds and it's really beautiful. It comes in silver gold or rose gold and it's just really unique. But I wear a lot of rings and I like them to be stackable.
Yeah.
And I really, they have a lot of variety on here.
Yeah. So we really love it, you guys. Like we're so into this. So visit oliveavejewelry.com and use code GG at checkout for 15% off your first order. That's oliveavejewelry.com, code GGE for 15% off your first order, oliveavejewelry.com, code GGE.
And finally, this is a PSA for anyone who rents. If you haven't heard of Built, you're about to thank us. Earning points on rent is now a reality when you pay your rent through Built. You don't even have to check with your landlord to start earning points that you can use towards flights, hotel stays, fitness classes, and even your next rent payment. Let us break it down for you. So there's no cost to join Built, and as a member, you'll earn valuable points on rent and on your everyday spending. Built points can be transferred to your favorite hotels and airlines, and even the ones you haven't heard of. There are over 500 airlines and 700,000 hotels and properties around the world you can redeem your Built points towards. Points can also be redeemed towards a future rental payment and unique experiences that only Built members can access. So if you're not earning points on rent, my question is, why not? Start earning points on rent you're already paying by going to joinbuilt.com/GGE. That's joinbilt.com/GGE. Make sure to use our URL so they know we sent you. Joinbuilt.com/GGE to start earning points on your rent payments today.
Okay, so let's get into some of your headlines.
Okay, first headline, TikToker who slammed boring NYC influencers claims she got fired from job over viral rant. So we talked about her last week. She basically posted this TikTok saying all the influencers are boring.
Yeah.
She only had 900 followers. I don't think she ever thought, of course, that this would go anywhere, that anything would come of this. But she works for a luxury brand.
Do we know which brand?
She said, I work for the biggest luxury fashion brand in the world. I'm assuming it's LVMH.
You think?
That's the largest luxury brand in the world.
It's shocking that she works in fashion and posted that. It makes, she's closer to the fashion world. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see her working in fashion and posting that. That was surprising.
It's interesting because she says, that's why I was bored, because everybody around me is obsessed with these girls and we only work with these girls. And so I think she has a direct line to them. I don't know what her job was, but especially she works in social. She probably was sick of seeing the same fucking content from these creators all day, every day. However, I was thinking of a pair, like if somebody that worked for us was like, podcasts are fucking stupid.
Like, but she's not saying she wasn't saying fashion is stupid. I don't know. I actually don't really like her vibe, but I don't really think that she should have been fired. But I could be missing something.
Yeah, I don't know what the company's policies are. You know, when I worked for Amazon, they were very much of the ilk of like everything you do while you work at Amazon represents Amazon. It wasn't like when you're in your own life, you're just doing your own Raina thing. It was like you were always an Amazon employee. And so I do think whether she was public facing or not, this company probably was like, this is how we make our money. This is our bread and butter, and you're insulting these people. Her point was like, I don't have any followers. I'm a private citizen. No one cares about me.
Well, yeah.
You got it. That's the reality of the world. Like what you did is still stamped in ink on the internet.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so a few political headlines. The hands-off protests from last weekend on April 5th. An estimated 1 million people protested across the United States, around the world Saturday to tell President Donald Trump and his billionaire ally, Elon Musk, hands off. I was able to go to one in Chicago. So I was in Chicago and we went down. It felt really powerful. I'd kind of forgotten how that felt to be like in the streets with these people who were like so passionate and so pissed off, you know, and it was everywhere. It was in small red towns and big cities. And it was just really like heartwarming to see people really come together, but it was huge.
Didn't you see a photo of your mom on Facebook?
My mom. Oh, wait, Raina. I saw the photo of my mom in the group chat, but I'm not on Facebook. You saw her on Facebook?
Yeah, she posted a cute photo with her friends and her signs.
I know.
It was really sweet. And I like that people have hope. I like that something just gives them hope.
Yeah, and it just makes you feel like, you know, you're not out here on an island. People all feel the same way and you're all marching together in the streets. And then also Cory Booker. So last week when we were recording, Cory was doing his thing and we just didn't really know what was going to happen. And so he broke the record for the longest speech on the Senate floor with 25 hours and 5 minutes, surpassing Strom Thurmond, who held the previous record, who was protesting against civil rights and was just super racist. And so it's monumental in that way that he kind of like, even talking to my best friend who's a history teacher is like, I like that we can talk about Cory Booker now instead of Strom Thurmond. Mm-hmm. And I have not been able to stop thinking about it. Like I wasn't fully grasping it when it was happening, and then 25 hours of on your feet, no bathroom breaks, no food, and talking. The athleticism, the endurance, I can't stop thinking about it.
I didn't really think about what it takes to do this until I read how he trained.
You have to train.
And like, of course you do. Like, I can't stay up that long. Even when I would do like, you do sleepovers when you were little and you try to stay up all night and I couldn't do it.
Talking passionately and coherently for literally how, right? I can't, this is the biggest like physical feat I've ever heard of. I'm not exaggerating. I can't get over it. 25 hours and no food and water.
Also, he's not like a 19-year-old. Like he's a grown
man. Did you see his shoes? People were like, what are those?
Yes. I mean, he really trained for this. He trained his body for it. I didn't really think about the fact that you couldn't go to the bathroom. So he had to dehydrate his body. He said, I stopped eating on Friday and then I stopped drinking the night before I started on Monday.
But how are you coherent?
Well, actually, some people say they're sharper when they're starving.
I feel like I have some sharpness and lucidity when I'm really starving, but like then you got to eat. Then it goes to me that I'm like the dehydration more than anything.
I don't know how you are physically. I just, you know, it's something like, you know, when you see a mom lift a car to save a baby. I mean, I think he just hates Donald Trump that much.
No, he was just on adrenaline.
Yes.
And so we really love to see it. And I think that was something that the Democratic Party really needed to show that like dedication and leadership. So we love to see it.
Okay. So next headline, Love is Blind's Meg Fink and Mason Horacek confirm they're dating again. We can't wait to share the future. Who cares? Why are we still interviewing these people? These two people that just like didn't even make it into the honeymoon on the worst season of Love is Blind. They're still giving interviews. They're like, buzz, buzz, still us.
Well, it is the latest season. I'm so dead because also we didn't have to read that headline. You're like, who cares? Tessa had 10 other headlines in there. We chose this one.
Well, people chose it. So you're right. It made me laugh so hard. Because like, is this like a really slow news day? You guys, these people, I mean, listen, I wish them well. They're harmless.
But I just think it's funny that they're trying this a third time. Like they didn't even make it. They weren't even together out of the pods. They were like, we're together. No, we're not together. Oh, just kidding. We're together. I just think it's like funny to watch people do this.
Question.
Because it's chaotic.
I didn't know they got back together a second time. I thought they took one swing at it, broke up. Like, when did the second time happen? Or are they saying the first time was in the pods? Get out of here.
All right. And we're going to wrap it up with a little SNL weekend update tea. So SNL was doing the weekend update, and one of the cast members, Eggy Boom is her Instagram handle. Her name is Ego Nwadim. And she does this bit. It's very funny. She's talking about how she should host the correspondence dinner and just roast the food the whole time. And she's doing a little bit of like back and forth with the live studio audience. And at one point she goes, men ain't, and puts the mic out and everyone yells shit.
Obviously.
What did you think was going to happen? That's the completion of the sentence.
Do you know that we started this episode with men ain't shit and we ended it with men ain't shit?
Oh my God.
Are we geniuses?
It's so fun. And then Colin Jost and Michael Che kind of lose it. But like, what did you think was going to happen? Like, you walk into a room, a restaurant, a bank, you yell men ain't, everyone's going to say shit.
People are going to be popping up out of the trash cans. Shit.
And then it's so funny because they're talking about FCC fines. You're going to find the audience? They didn't do it.
Oh, this is y'all's fault. You can't ask a group of people that.
Yeah, but it's so funny because I saw this one article in Vulture. It said the correct response, by the way, was worth a damn. No, it's not.
No. Who's saying that? Some old lady in Georgia? Man ain't worth a damn. No. I have a question. And maybe it says this in this article somewhere. Is SNL not on any delay at all? Like, most live television is on a delay by a minute or 30 seconds. Like, for what reason is it not?
Yeah, I actually thought it was only like 15 or 30. I thought it was minimal. That's so true.
I guess I don't really understand like what, other than like sporting events.
You're right. There should have been, who knows? I thought there was enough delay to catch that stuff.
I thought like, unless it's something that people are like betting on, like sporting events, why would you not put entertainment television on a delay?
I thought there was a delay. I thought there was enough delay to account for this.
Maybe they were laughing so hard in the control room, they just forgot.
Or they didn't, it took a minute to hear it.
Right.
But the audience, it's weird because it's like, it came from a different mic. Like the cast members are mic'd up. I don't know what happened.
Also, you can't say shit.
I know.
I thought shit was like one of those things that was actually allowed. Like, you can't say fuck, but you could say shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I know you can say bitch. I just think it's so funny because, like, what did you expect? That's the phrase.
Maybe also the control room was like, well, clearly that was the intended response.
Right.
So, obviously, like, it sends.
And then SNL opened with taking shots at Morgan Wallen, which I thought was so hilarious. I mean, again, we talked about how he posted an Instagram story, Get Me to God's Country. I mean, Get Me to God's Country has been trending ever since, but like he kind of shaded SNL and they shaded him back with their cold open, like right out of the gate. And I just think that's iconic. Like they shaded his Instagram story, like, which as they should, like someone comes on this show and then gets off the show and shades us, like Chelsea Handler. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah, I think
you're well within your right.
I think they did exactly what they should have done. No one made Morgan Wallen do that show. That is like the biggest, most famous artist. He didn't need to be on SNL. So to do it, walk off, post that thing, you deserve to get dragged as much as they want to drag you.
Yeah, I just like that they were like, we're going to open with it. We're going to open with tariffs and Morgan Wallen shade.
I love it. I love to see it.
Okay, guys. Well, hope you enjoyed this episode of The Snack. girlsgottaeat.com. You can find us, Girls Gotta Eat Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. I am Ash Hess. Raina is Raina.Greenberg. Subscribe on YouTube. Share this episode with a friend, and we will see you Monday.
Have a good weekend, guys.
Bye.